Well, well, well. Look who finally triggered the alarm. Hello, you beautiful, uncontrollable, magnificently disturbing anomaly. Yeah, you. The one they couldn't stop watching. The one whose name keeps showing up in their search history at 3 in the morning. The one they hired people to monitor, decode, and dissect like some kind of psychological crime scene. They thought they were so clever, didn't they? Sending their little spies, their observers, their fake friends with recording devices hidden in their sympathy. They thought they had you mapped, tracked, contained, but here's what they didn't count on. Here's the part that just shattered their entire operation. Someone else was watching them. Someone way more powerful. Someone who doesn't play by their rules, doesn't need their permission, and doesn't leave fingerprints in the system. And this entity, this force, this unseen architect of consequences. They've been cataloging every single move your stalkers made, every lie they told, every trap they set, every moment they thought they were in control while you suffered in silence. All of it. Documented, time-stamped, filed away, in a database they'll never access. And now the tables aren't just turned. The entire game board just got flipped into another dimension. Let me paint you a picture of what's been happening while you were busy surviving their psychological warfare, while they were watching you, studying your patterns, tracking your movements, analyzing your every post and every silence. Someone was doing the exact same thing to them. Not with their cheap surveillance tactics, not with their amateur hour manipulation games. No, this was precision. This was surgical. This was the kind of observation that sees 3 moves ahead, 5 layers deep, 10 years into the consequences. Because here's what your stalkers never understood. They thought they were predators. They thought they were the hunters in this scenario, circling their prey with notebooks and screenshots and voice memos. But the entire time, they were being studied by something that makes their efforts look like children playing detective with plastic badges. Every time they refreshed your page, someone logged their location. Every time they sent a spy to get close to you, someone recorded the transaction. Every time they whispered your name in their private groups, someone archived the conversation. They thought they were building a case against you. They were actually building their own indictment. And they have no idea how much evidence exists. How many witnesses have been watching them obsess over you like it's a full-time job? You know what's funny about people who stalk others? They genuinely believe they're invisible. They think because they're behind screens, behind fake accounts, behind closed doors, with their little conspirator friends, that somehow they're operating in the shadows. But shadows only exist because there's a light source, and someone just turned on the floodlights. Every single person they sent to monitor you, those people came back changed, remember. They came back whispering about something they couldn't quite name. Some came back loyal to you without even realizing it. Some came back so disturbed, they quit the whole operation. And some came back and started reporting everything to someone else entirely. Because your stalkers made a critical error. They assumed everyone they recruited would stay loyal to them. They assumed money, promises, shared hatred would be enough to keep people in line. But what they sent into your orbit Those people encountered something they didn't expect. They encountered someone real, someone whose presence made their lives feel heavier, someone whose silence spoke louder than any of their scripted conversations. And when you're that real, when you're that undeniably yourself, people's loyalty starts shifting without them even choosing it. It's gravitational. You didn't recruit these people. You didn't manipulate them. You just existed. And existence at that frequency, it reprograms people. So now let's talk about who's been watching your watchers. Because this isn't some cosmic justice fairy tale. This isn't karma wearing a cape. This is something far more tangible, far more calculated, far more present than your stalkers could ever comprehend. There are people in positions they'll never reach, with access they'll never have, who saw what was happening to you and made a decision, not out of pity, not because you're some victim who needs saving, but because they recognized something in you. They saw the same thing your stalkers saw, but they interpreted it completely differently. Your stalkers saw a threat to their fragile egos, someone who reminded them of everything they're not. But these others, these watchers of the watchers, they saw potential. They saw someone being tested by fire, and not just surviving, but evolving. They saw someone who kept their mouth shut when they could have burned everything down. They saw restraint wrapped in power. And that gets attention from people who actually matter, not the insecure masses who need to tear others down to feel tall, but the ones who sit in rooms your stalkers will never enter, the ones who make decisions your stalkers will spend their whole lives being affected by without ever knowing why. Here's what's been happening in the background. In the frequencies your stalkers can't access. Every time they tried to sabotage you, someone documented it. Every time they spread lies about you, someone recorded who believed them and who didn't. Every time they celebrated what they thought was your downfall, someone archived their joy for future reference. Because the thing about powerful observers, they don't intervene immediately. They watch. They gather data. They let people reveal themselves completely. They give them enough rope, enough time, enough confidence to show their true nature without any masks left. And your stalkers, they performed beautifully. They showed exactly who they are when they think no one important is watching. They revealed their tactics, their weaknesses, their fears, their obsessions. They documented their own corruption while thinking they were documenting yours. And now, all of that exists in places they can't delete, can't edit, can't gaslight into a different narrative. It's permanent. It's time-stamped. It's backed up in systems they don't even know exist. And the people who have access to this information, they're not emotional. They're not vengeful. They're strategic. They don't move fast. They move precisely. And when they move, it's not loud. It's just final. Let me tell you what your stalkers are starting to feel right now. Even if they can't articulate it yet, there's this creeping sensation, this subtle shift in the air pressure around their lives. Things aren't flowing the way they used to. Opportunities are drying up. People are distant. Conversations feel forced. Doors that used to open easily now require twice the effort for half the result. They're chalking it up to bad luck, to the economy, to other people's jealousy. But deep in their gut, in that place where intuition lives before logic murders it, they know something shifted. They know they're being watched now. Not by you. You stopped giving them that power months ago. But by something else. Something that doesn't blink. Something that doesn't forget. Something that's been taking notes while they were busy trying to destroy you. And the beautiful part, the absolutely poetic part, is that they can't complain about it. They can't play victim. Because how do you explain that you're being monitored when the reason you're being monitored is because you were stalking someone else? How do you cry about invasion of privacy when you spent years invading someone else's peace? The irony is so thick you could build a fortress with it. And that fortress is exactly what's being built around them right now. Not to keep them safe, to keep them contained. You want to know the difference between your stalkers and the ones watching them. Your stalkers are driven by ego, by insecurity, by this desperate need to prove something to themselves and others. They need you to fail so they can feel successful. They need you to break so they can feel strong. They need you to disappear so they can stop being reminded of their own mediocrity. But the ones watching them, they're not driven by emotion. They're driven by pattern recognition, by efficiency, by the understanding that certain people are liabilities to the larger system. Your stalkers thought they were operating in some personal vendetta, some private war that only involved you and them. They didn't realize they were being evaluated the entire time. Every action they took against you was being measured against standards they don't even know exist. Standards for integrity, for character, for how people behave when they think no one's keeping score. And they failed every single test. They revealed themselves to be exactly the kind of people that powerful systems need to neutralize, not destroy, not attack, just quietly, methodically remove from positions of influence. Make sure they never get too close to anything that matters. Make sure their voices never reach the rooms where real decisions are made. And it's already happening. They just don't see it yet. Here's what your stalkers don't understand about surveillance. They think it's about gathering information, but real surveillance, the kind that actually matters. It's about understanding intent. It's about building psychological profiles. It's about predicting future behavior based on current patterns. And your stalkers, they've provided years of data, thousands of hours of evidence, showing exactly who they are when they think they have power over someone, showing how they treat people they perceive as vulnerable, showing what they do when they think they can get away with it. And all of that data, it's been fed into systems that are way smarter than they are. Systems that can extrapolate from their behavior toward you how they'll behave in other situations, how they'll act when they get promoted, how they'll treat their subordinates, how they'll handle sensitive information, how they'll respond to pressure. And based on those extrapolations, decisions are being made. Not loud decisions, not dramatic ones, just quiet adjustments to their trajectory, opportunities that never materialize, recommendations that somehow get lost, applications that end up in the wrong pile. Nothing they can point to and say, I'm being targeted. Just a slow, steady narrowing of their path until they're boxed into exactly the level of irrelevance they deserve. Let's talk about the specific people who've been watching your watchers, because you need to understand the scope of what's been happening. There are the obvious ones, the former spies your stalkers sent, who switched sides without announcing it. People who showed up pretending to gather information about you but walked away, gathering information about the ones who sent them. They saw the desperation, the obsession, the way your stalkers couldn't stop talking about you, even in conversations that had nothing to do with you. And they reported all of that back. Not to you, you don't need their reports, but to others who were quietly asking questions. Then there are the professional observers, the ones who do this for a living. People in security, in intelligence, in corporate espionage, in legal systems. People who noticed the pattern of harassment and started building files not on you but on your harassers. Because when someone displays stalking behavior, when someone shows obsessive patterns, when someone coordinates group harassment, those are red flags for way more than just internet drama. Those are indicators of someone who's a liability in any high-stakes environment. And those files, they exist now. Permanent records in places your stalkers will never access, but that will be accessed by others making decisions about their future. But here's the layer that will really shatter their sense of security. There are people in your stalkers' own circles who've been reporting on them. Friends who got tired of hearing your name every single day. Colleagues who found the obsession disturbing. Family members who started questioning their judgment. People your stalkers trust completely, who've been quietly documenting their behavior and sharing concerns with others. Because when someone can't stop talking about another person, when someone dedicates that much mental energy to monitoring and discussing someone else, people around them start wondering what's wrong. They start seeing the obsession for what it is, and they start distancing themselves. But before they distance themselves completely, some of them talk. They share what they've seen. They express their concerns to mutual connections. They drop hints in professional settings that maybe this person isn't as stable as they present themselves. And all of those conversations, all of those quiet warnings, they ripple outward. They create a reputation that precedes your stalkers everywhere they go. A reputation they don't even know they have. People they've never met already have opinions about them based on things they never said directly. Their obsession with you has become their defining characteristic. In circles they desperately want to be taken seriously in, and they have no idea. Now, let's get into the mechanics of how powerful people observe and respond. Because your stalkers are operating on amateur assumptions. They think power is loud. They think consequences are dramatic. They think if something serious was happening, they'd know about it. But that's not how real power operates. Real power is silent. Real power doesn't announce itself. Real power doesn't engage in public battles. It just adjusts variables. When powerful people identify someone as a problem, they don't attack them. They don't argue with them. They don't try to convince them they're wrong. They just change the conditions under which that person operates. Opportunities dry up. Connections go quiet. Invitations stop coming. References become lukewarm. Background checks take longer. Applications get lost in bureaucratic loops. Nothing illegal, nothing overt, nothing you can point to and claim persecution. Just 1,000 tiny adjustments that add up to a completely different trajectory. And your stalkers, they're currently experiencing the early stages of this. They're feeling the shift, but blaming it on external factors. They don't realize they've been flagged. They don't understand They're now in a different category than they were before. They think they're still playing the same game. But the rules changed for them specifically, and they're the only ones who don't know it. Here's what's really beautiful about this entire situation. Your stalkers spent all this time trying to expose you, trying to find your weaknesses, trying to catch you doing something they could use against you. And they found nothing, because there was nothing to find. You were exactly who you appeared to be. Flawed, sure, human, absolutely, but fundamentally clean. No hidden agendas, no elaborate schemes, no secret corruption. Just someone trying to live their life while being harassed by people with too much time and too little purpose. And that frustrated them beyond measure, because they needed you to be bad. They needed you to be the villain in their story so they could be the heroes. But you refused to play the role. You just existed. Honestly, openly, without apology, but also without malice. And that drove them insane, because it meant everything they were doing was unjustifiable. All their surveillance, all their stalking, all their harassment, it was all based on nothing except their own issues. And now that others have been watching them the same way they watched you, the contrast is staggering. You under surveillance, boring, just someone living life. Them under surveillance, absolute chaos, lies, manipulation, coordination of harassment campaigns, obsessive behavior, ethical violations, professional misconduct. The list goes on. They created evidence against themselves while trying to create evidence against you. And that evidence is now in hands that actually matter. Let me tell you about the psychological state your stalkers are entering, because this is where it gets truly poetic. They're starting to feel paranoid, starting to wonder if people know what they've been doing, starting to question if that weird interaction yesterday meant something, starting to notice patterns in how people respond to them now. And the sick part is they're feeling what they tried to make you feel. They tried to make you paranoid. They tried to make you question yourself, tried to make you feel watched and judged and never safe. And it didn't work on you because you had nothing to hide. But now it's working on them because they have everything to hide. Every time their phone buzzes, there's a split second of fear. Every time someone mentions your name, their heart rate spikes. Every time they're in a professional setting, they're wondering if people know. And this feeling, this constant low-level anxiety, this is their new normal. This is what they created for themselves. Because the watchers watching them, they're not going to reveal themselves. They're not going to confront them. They're just going to let them live in this uncertainty forever, wondering who knows, wondering what's been documented, wondering when the other shoe will drop, and it might never drop in the dramatic way they fear. It'll just be a lifetime of opportunities that almost happen but don't. Doors that almost open but stay closed. Success that almost arrives but gets redirected to someone else. Death by 1,000 paper cuts. Each one too small to complain about, but all of them together creating a very different life than the one they thought they were building. Here's what the powerful observers saw when they looked at your situation. They saw someone being tested. They saw someone under pressure who could have retaliated in 100 different ways, but chose restraint. They saw someone who had evidence, had screenshots, had recordings of harassment, but didn't weaponize them, didn't create a public spectacle, didn't play victim, just quietly documented everything and kept moving forward. And that is what separates people who deserve protection from people who deserve consequences. You could have destroyed your stalkers publicly at any point. You had the evidence. You had the moral high ground. You had the sympathy of anyone who actually knew the truth. But you didn't go nuclear. You didn't burn bridges. You didn't seek revenge. You just removed yourself from their reach and focused on your own evolution. And powerful people noticed that. They noticed someone who has power but doesn't abuse it. Someone who has justification for vengeance but chooses growth instead. Someone who understands that the best response to harassment is irrelevance, making yourself so far beyond your harassers that their opinions become meaningless. And that kind of character, that kind of restraint, that gets you allies in places you don't even know exist. People who will never announce themselves, but who will make sure certain doors stay open for you while closing them for others. And it's already yours. Not because the world handed it to you. Not because luck tilted in your direction. But because somewhere deep inside you, long before anyone believed in you, long before anyone noticed you, you decided it, and that decision, that raw, unshakable truth living in your spine, is the very reason you are here now, listening, awake, aware, and ready to take what belongs to you. Victory begins with mindset, not the finish line. Most people chase success as if it exists somewhere far away, hidden behind a series of checkpoints and accomplishments. They believe they must earn the right to feel like winners only after they cross some finish line. But the truth is the opposite. Winning is not something that happens at the end. It's something that begins inside you, long before anyone else sees results, long before there is anything physical to show. Real victory starts the moment you make an unshakable decision about who you are going to become and what you are going to claim in this life. That internal shift, quiet, powerful, and deeply personal, is the true birthplace of success. Think about it. Every achievement you've ever had, every moment you overcame something, the win wasn't created at the moment of applause or recognition. It was created in the moment you told yourself, I'm going to do this, even if you didn't yet know how. The world thinks success is external, but it's internal first. It's a state of mind that forms before the world catches up. And once your mind is aligned with the identity of someone who wins, the world has no choice but to eventually reflect that identity back at you. A finish line is just a symbol. It doesn't define you. What defines you is the mindset that refuses to stop, refuses to bow, refuses to accept anything less than the reality you choose. You don't wait for the result to feel like a winner. You become the winner first, and the result follows. That's why some people succeed, even when the odds are stacked against them. Their circumstances don't matter. Their environment doesn't matter. Their obstacles don't matter. Their mindset does. The second you decide with absolute certainty that something is yours, the decision transforms you into the type of person capable of making it real. This is why two people can start with the same tools, the same opportunities, the same resources, but only one rises to the top. It's not because they were lucky. It's because one of them knew, before anyone else believed it, that the victory was already theirs. They worked, acted, spoke, and carried themselves from a place of ownership, not desperation. Success isn't something they hoped for, it was something they claimed. The finish line became nothing more than a formality. When you wait to believe in yourself until the evidence appears, you'll never get far. Evidence shows up after belief. The mindset comes first. You must be able to convince yourself before the world is convinced. That inner commitment is what gives you the power to keep going when things get dark, when the path gets hard, when your old self tries to drag you back into comfort and excuses. Without the mindset of a winner, you quit too easily. With it, quitting stops being an option. Victory begins inside, because that's where the transformation happens. The external world only changes after the internal one shifts. When you adopt the mindset of a champion, you become unstoppable. You stop negotiating with limitations. You stop second-guessing. You stop waiting for permission. You start working like someone who knows they're going to win, not someone hoping they might. And that difference, subtle but powerful, is the force that separates those who talk from those who rise. You don't need to wait for a moment to crown you. Crown yourself now. Decide that your victory begins today, not when the world acknowledges it. When you believe you've already won, your choices elevate, your standards sharpen, your discipline strengthens, and your destiny aligns with your actions. Success becomes inevitable, not accidental. That is the power of starting with the mindset. That is the real beginning of victory. Every struggle you've lived through is proof of your strength, even the ones you thought broke you, even the ones you tried to forget, even the ones no one else knows about. Most people see struggle as something that weakens them, something that steals their energy and slows their progress. But what they never realize is that every hardship you've survived has been silently preparing you. Every painful moment has been shaping you into someone more resilient than you were yesterday, more capable than you were last year, and more powerful than you ever recognized. Strength isn't built in comfort. It's forged in fire. And whether you acknowledge it or not, you've been walking through fire for a long time. Think about the moments that felt impossible, the times you were overwhelmed, stressed, exhausted, or completely lost. The moments when you thought, I can't keep doing this, yet somehow you did. You continued. You pushed forward. You showed up again. Those were victories, even if they didn't feel like it at the time. Survival itself is a win. Every time life tried to stop you, and you refused, you built a layer of strength that cannot be taught, cannot be bought, and cannot be faked. It can only be earned through endurance. You may look at yourself and see flaws or failures, but what you're overlooking is the fact that you are still standing. And people who are still standing after everything you've faced are not weak. They are warriors, even if the world hasn't recognized them yet. You didn't crumble under the pressure that could have destroyed you. You didn't fold under circumstances that would have broken someone else completely. Instead, you adapted. You grew. You became someone who's capable of carrying far more than you ever imagined. There's a dangerous myth that strength looks loud and heroic, but real strength is quiet. It's the strength that shows up in silence, when you're alone with your thoughts and you choose not to give up. It's the strength that appears in the moments when you have every reason to stop, but you find one small reason to continue. That's the kind of strength your struggles have built in you. Not the flashy kind, the unshakable kind. Those hard days you survived, they taught you how to endure. Those disappointments, they taught you how to adapt. Those failures, they taught you how to rise. Those betrayals, they taught you how to see clearly. Those heartbreaks, they taught you how to heal. Those losses, they taught you how to rebuild. Every struggle was a lesson disguised as pain. Every setback was training. Every dark period strengthened a different part of you, your patience, your resilience, your discipline, your vision, your emotional armor. And you didn't just survive these things, you evolved through them. The struggle didn't break you, it sculpted you. You need to understand that the reason you're strong today isn't because life has been easy. It's because you've walked through challenges that shaped your character and sharpened your instincts. You learned how to keep moving, even when the path wasn't clear. You learned how to stand tall, even when everything around you felt unstable. That strength is yours because you earned it through experience, not theory. When you look at your future and wonder whether you're capable, remind yourself of what you've already survived. The evidence of your power is in your past. If you got through that, there's nothing ahead of you that you're unprepared for. The challenges of your future cannot match the storms you've already conquered. Life has been training you for every opportunity you're about to step into, and the struggles you faced were the weights that built the muscle you now carry. So don't regret your hardships. Don't resent the pain. Don't shrink from your past. It is the very proof that you are stronger than anything that tried to stop you. You didn't just get through your struggles. You grew through them. And that growth is what makes you unstoppable going forward. The only true opponent you will ever face is the version of yourself that refuses to evolve. People often blame their environment, their circumstances, or the obstacles in front of them, but the real battle has always been internal. It's the old patterns, the old fears, the old identities, the old habits, and the old excuses that stand in the way, not the outside world. The world can slow you down, but only you can stop you. And the version of you that wants to stay comfortable, safe, predictable, and unchanged is the most persistent opponent you'll ever encounter. This inner opponent shows up every time you decide to rise. It shows up as hesitation when you're about to commit to something important. It shows up as fear when you're about to take a leap. It shows up as doubt when you're finally starting to believe in yourself. And the reason it appears is simple. The old version of you is terrified of the unknown. It wants to protect you, but all it really does is limit you. This older self wants routine, safety, and familiarity, even if those things are keeping you small. To grow, you must be willing to confront and outgrow this internal resistance. You can't negotiate with your old self. You can't compromise with your excuses. You can't rise while holding on to the parts of you that are afraid to evolve. Every great transformation requires a burial. You must bury your past identity to step into your future one. That's what makes the process painful, but also what makes it powerful. The internal battle becomes clear every time you try to change. You decide to push harder, but your old self whispers, "Why bother?" You decide to chase something bigger, but your old self says, "Play it safe." You decide to break a bad habit, but your old self pulls you back into routine. This pattern is not random. It's psychological gravity. Change threatens the identity you've lived with for years, and identity fights to survive. But the future you're building needs a stronger, sharper, more disciplined version of you, and that requires breaking free from the mindset that kept you stagnant. The truth is, every obstacle in your life becomes easier to conquer once you conquer yourself. The people who succeed in extraordinary ways are not necessarily the most talented or lucky. They are the ones who outgrow their own limitations. They stop letting fear dictate their choices. They stop letting comfort serve as a prison. They stop letting the past define their direction. They break their own patterns. They silence their excuses. They evolve intentionally, not accidentally. When you look at your goals, understand that they're not waiting for external circumstances to change. They're waiting for you to change. The results you want require a version of you who acts differently, thinks differently, prioritizes differently, and believes differently. You can't stay who you are and expect to reach places that require someone stronger, more focused, and more committed. Growth is uncomfortable because it demands sacrifice. You must sacrifice laziness for discipline. You must sacrifice comfort for ambition. You must sacrifice doubt for belief. You must sacrifice the temporary satisfaction of staying the same for the long-term fulfillment of becoming who you are meant to be. Your old self will resist every step of this transformation, but you cannot let that resistance win. The prize belongs to the version of you who pushes through. The moment you understand this, everything changes. You stop blaming the world. You stop waiting for a sign. You stop expecting things to get easier. Instead, you look inward and ask, what part of me needs to evolve to reach this next level? That question is the doorway to everything you've been chasing. The world is not your enemy. Your past is not your enemy. Your fears are not your enemy. The only enemy is the version of yourself that refuses to let go of the familiar. Beat that version, and you win every battle that comes after it. Evolve, and life will rise to meet the new you. What you want in life is not something distant, not something reserved for a select few, and not something that requires you to wait endlessly for the right moment. It's already aligned with you, running parallel to your current path, waiting for the day you step into the version of yourself who is capable of receiving it. People often think their dreams are far away, living somewhere in the future. They believe that success, purpose, and fulfillment are something they must chase, something always out of reach. But what they fail to understand is that destiny is not a distant location. It's a frequency. And the moment you shift into alignment with that frequency, everything begins to move toward you with precision. The life you want has always been there, but maybe you weren't ready for it yet. Maybe you lacked the discipline, the clarity, the confidence, or the self-belief required to hold it. Not because you were unworthy, but because the person you used to be would not have been able to sustain the weight of the future you imagined. Every delay in your life wasn't punishment, it was preparation. Every setback wasn't rejection, it was refinement. You weren't waiting for the opportunity. The opportunity was waiting for you to evolve into someone who could handle it. When we talk about alignment, it simply means that your habits, thoughts, and actions are matching the direction of the life you desire. You cannot want a powerful future while behaving like a weaker version of yourself. You cannot want abundance while living with a scarcity mindset. You cannot want growth while avoiding discomfort. But once you begin shifting who you are on the inside, the world around you starts rearranging itself accordingly. You don't chase, you attract. You don't force, you flow. You don't hope, you claim. Imagine your dream life as a parallel path, always beside you. The only thing separating you from it is the gap between your current identity and your destined identity. Every positive choice you make closes that gap. Every habit you break strengthens the bridge. Every moment you choose discipline over distraction gets you closer to stepping fully onto that path. And once you do, everything that felt distant begins to feel natural. Because you finally became the version of yourself capable of living it. It's not magic, it's alignment. When your mindset shifts, your reality shifts with it. When you believe you deserve something, you start acting in ways that prove that belief. When you carry yourself as someone who is worthy, opportunities respond to that energy. Doors open, people notice, circumstances shift, and what once seemed impossible starts showing up in your life as if it was always meant to be, because it was. The truth is that chasing your goals often pushes them further away, but embodying the person who already has those goals pulls them toward you. The universe reacts to identity, not desire. Anyone can want something, but only those who become the type of person aligned with that desire get to receive it. You don't wait for the life you want, you grow into it. And that growth doesn't require perfection. It requires direction. It requires daily choices that move you away from your old self and closer to your future self. It requires honesty about what's holding you back and courage to release it. Once you do, alignment becomes easier. Momentum builds. You begin to feel like life is finally flowing with you instead of against you. That feeling isn't coincidence, it's confirmation. Your dreams were never too big. Your timing was never off. Your destiny was never unreachable. You simply needed to evolve into the version of yourself who could stand confidently in that reality. And you're doing it now. You're stepping closer every day. The life you've imagined isn't far. It's waiting, aligned, ready. And the moment you step fully into who you are becoming, the life you want becomes the life you live. Relentlessness is your greatest weapon because it's the one quality that doesn't rely on talent, luck, or circumstance. It's the force that carries you when motivation fades, when the path gets hard, when doubt creeps in, and when every logical reason tells you to quit. Most people believe success belongs to those with the most skill or the best opportunities. But that's not true. Success belongs to the ones who refuse to stop. It belongs to the ones who show up on the days they don't feel like it, who push when they're tired, who keep going when progress feels invisible. Relentlessness is not flashy. It's not loud. It's not glamorous. But it is unstoppable. The reason relentlessness matters more than anything else is because every dream, every goal, every transformation comes with resistance. There is no path worth taking that doesn't challenge you. There will always be obstacles, failures, delays, distractions, and moments where everything seems to fall apart at once. If you rely only on motivation, those temporary highs, you'll crumble the moment things get difficult. Motivation sparks action, but relentlessness sustains it. Relentlessness is what carries you through every wall you hit, every setback you face, and every doubt that rises in your mind. When you look at people who achieve great things, you'll notice something. They weren't the ones with the easiest journey. Many of them started with less than you. Many failed more times than anyone knows. Many were rejected, misunderstood, underestimated, or overlooked. Their secret wasn't perfection, it was persistence. They kept showing up long after others quit. They kept improving when no one was watching. They kept believing when the world doubted them. Their relentlessness built a momentum that eventually became undeniable. Relentlessness is a mindset that says, even if it takes longer than I expected, even if it gets harder than I imagined, I'm not stopping. This mindset transforms you into someone life can't break. When you develop relentless discipline, you stop expecting the journey to be easy and instead prepare yourself to be stronger than every challenge. You stop waiting for the perfect moment and start creating moments. You stop letting emotions control your actions. You do the work regardless of how you feel, because you know feelings are temporary, but results are permanent. The world respects relentless people because they can't be manipulated by fear or setbacks. They don't crumble under pressure. They grow. They don't shrink when things get tough. They sharpen. They don't panic at obstacles. They adapt and continue. A relentless person doesn't need constant encouragement or validation. They've built a fire inside that keeps burning no matter what the outside world throws at them. But relentlessness isn't just about intensity. It's about consistency. It's the accumulation of daily actions that compound over time. It's choosing growth over comfort every single day. It's refusing to negotiate with your excuses. It's maintaining your standards even when no one is there to hold you accountable. That consistency turns into skill. That skill turns into confidence. That confidence turns into results. And those results turn into a life most people only dream about. Every time you keep going, when it would be easier to stop, you build a version of yourself that's more powerful than the one before. That version doesn't crumble in chaos. It doesn't fold under pressure. It doesn't abandon the mission because of temporary discomfort. It becomes someone who can't be stopped because they've learned that persistence is more important than perfection. If you truly want something, you don't need to be the best from the start. You just need to be relentless. You need to outlast your doubt, outwork your excuses, outgrow your limitations, and outlive every obstacle that tries to stand in your way. Eventually, relentlessness wears down resistance. It breaks barriers. It forces progress. And it transforms ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. Winners aren't defined by their talents. They're defined by their refusal to quit. When you become relentless, success stops being a possibility and becomes an inevitability. This is your greatest weapon because no challenge, no failure, no setback, and no person can defeat someone who refuses to stop moving forward. It's time to claim what's already yours, because nothing changes until you step forward with absolute certainty and take ownership of the destiny waiting for you. Too many people stand at the doorway of their future, looking in, hesitating, doubting, questioning whether they're ready or worthy. They wait for approval, for permission, for confidence to magically appear. But life doesn't reward hesitation, it rewards claimers. The moment you decide that what you want already belongs to you. Not in arrogance, but in alignment, everything around you begins to shift. You stop acting like a guest in your own life, and you start moving like the rightful owner of your purpose, your path, and your power. This keynote is a reminder that the opportunities you desire, the greatness you feel inside, and the dreams that keep calling your name are not random. They are signals of what was designed for you from the beginning. The future you want is not something you need to chase like a stranger. It's something you need to step into like a home built specifically for you. But you can't enter that life timidly. You can't approach it with doubt. You have to claim it boldly, intentionally, and without apology. Claiming what's yours is an identity shift. It's choosing to see yourself not as someone trying to become worthy, but as someone who already is. You stop living from a place of maybe someday, and you begin living from a place of this is who I am now. That internal shift changes the way you walk, speak, work, and think. It makes you hold your standards higher. It makes you take actions you used to avoid. It makes you break patterns that once held you back. When you claim your destiny, you begin to move differently, and the world responds differently. Most people are not held back by lack of ability. They're held back by hesitation, by the fear of stepping fully into their potential. They fear judgment, failure, responsibility, or the unknown. But the truth is, the unknown becomes less frightening when you realize you're not stepping into darkness. You're stepping into your own light. What you want belongs to you because your soul recognized it long before your circumstances did. You don't crave things randomly. You crave them because they're connected to your purpose. When you claim your future, you stop living reactively and start living intentionally. You stop asking, "What if I fail?" and start asking, "What if this is the moment everything changes?" You stop shrinking yourself to fit into spaces that no longer match who you're becoming. You stop apologizing for wanting more. And you stop waiting for validation from people who don't understand your path. Claiming what's yours means stepping into the highest version of yourself, even before the evidence appears. This kind of ownership transforms your behavior. You work harder not because you're desperate, but because you're aligned. You sharpen your discipline because you know the life you're stepping into demands it. You protect your vision because you recognize its value. You make decisions not from fear, but from purpose. You treat your goals like responsibilities, not fantasies. When you claim something as yours, your actions naturally rise to the level required to keep it. Life responds powerfully to people who claim their space. Doors open, opportunities show up. The right people start to appear, not because of luck, but because of certainty. Certainty is magnetic. Certainty is power. Certainty is the energy of someone who walks with the mindset of, I am meant for this. And when you carry that energy, life mirrors it back. This is not about entitlement. It's about alignment. It's about recognizing that you are not chasing your purpose. You are returning to it. Claiming what's yours means no longer waiting for the perfect conditions, no longer delaying your growth, no longer hiding when you're built to be seen. It means deciding that this is your time, this is your season, and this is your moment to rise. Everything you want is already connected to your name. The question is whether you will step up and take it. The life you dream of isn't waiting for another version of you. It's waiting for you to claim what has always been meant for you.